विश्वास न्याय का सबके लिए, आकाश न्याय का सबके लिए, उल्लास न्याय का सबके लिए, विश्वास न्याय का सबके लिए। अपने इस हिंदुस्तां पर हक हमारा भी तो है, इंसाफ के इस आशिया पर हक हमारा भी तो है। एक मुट्ठी आसमां पर हक हमारा भी तो है, एक मुट्ठी आसमां पर हक हमारा भी तो है।
ये ना सोचो दर्द हमारा कहीं सुना न जाएगा, अब न्यायालय खुद चलकर चौपालों तक आएगा।
लाचारों को न्याय मिलेगा, दुखियारों को न्याय मिलेगा, कमजोरों को न्याय मिलेगा।
उहाँहरूलाई हाततालीसँग स्वागत गरिदिनुहोस्। प्रथम हाम्रो एउटा सोलो डान्स पर्फर्मेन्स हुनुहुँदैछ।
Honorable Judge of Calcutta High Court and the Zonal Judge of Kalimpong District on the dais. May I request Learned Principal Magistrate Juvenile Justice Court, Kalimpong, to assert Dr. D.L.S.A, Learned District Judge, Kalimpong, on the dais. May I request Learned Principal Magistrate Juvenile Justice Board, Learned Judicial Magistrate, First Class Kalimpong, to usher Srimati Keju Bhutia to be kindly seated. Ladies and gentlemen, मैले सबैजनालाई आफ्नो सिटमा बसिदिनु भनेर आवेदन गर्दछु। Learned Additional District and Sessions Judge Kalimpong, Mr. Nandulal Karabahar, to felicitate Honorable Mr. Justice Ivan Mukherjee, Honorable Senior Most Judge of Calcutta High Court. Chief Judicial Magistrate Kalimpong, Mr. Edwin Lepcha, to felicitate Honorable Mr. Justice Sabyasachi Bhattacharya, Honorable Judge of Calcutta High Court. Learned Secretary, District Legal Service Authority Kalimpong, to felicitate Honorable Mr. Justice Vivek Chaudhary, Honorable Judge of Calcutta High Court and the Zonal Judge of Kalimpong District. Learned Principal Magistrate, Juvenile Justice Board, Kalimpong, to felicitate Learned District Judge, Kalimpong, Dr. D.L.S.A. Judicial Magistrate, First Class, Kalimpong, to felicitate Srimati Bhattacharya, respected Divisional Forest Officer, Kalimpong. May I request Learned Judicial Magistrate, First Class, Kalimpong, to felicitate Sri Prabhakar Dewan, Learned President of the Bar Association, Kalimpong. May I request the Principal Magistrate, Juvenile Justice Board, Kalimpong, to felicitate Srimati Keju Bhutia, respected representative of Kalimpong. To felicitate the Learned Deputy Secretary, D.L.S.A, Sri I.N. Majumdar. May I request the Additional Superintendent of Police, Kalimpong, Srimati Shubhan Vitta, and to accept the memento on behalf of the SP Kalimpong, who could not be present here today. Mr. Rajiv Baraji. Learned Senior Advocate, Mr. C.K. Kumar. Learned Senior Advocate, Dr. D.L.S.A, Kalimpong Bar Association. Now may I request Honorable My Lords and other dignitaries on the dais to join in for my lords.
I'm deeply honored to have the opportunity to introduce the event and to welcome the Honorable Distinguished Guest today on behalf of the District Legal Services Authority, Kalimpong. We could never imagine an event of this magnitude here at Lega. The fact that all our honorable guests have very modestly travelled a very long distance for reaching here and gracing the event, for attending the mega legal awareness camp on balancing biodiversity and existential crisis of forest dwellers and the role of D.L.S.A. itself is enough evidence to all of us about how vital the agenda is. Legal services are actively committed to and are all about empathizing the pain, tending to wounds, and celebrating life amidst all the struggles. And we know how intricately related they are. In our brief stopover on this planet, we often indulge in this bond with Mother Earth, mostly driven by greed, sometimes due to necessity. We often fail to look at the ultimate and give in to the temptation of the immediate. The severe portable crisis in Kalimpong, despite the presence of the huge Dist, the irony is not lost on anyone. Validity of the event is very much apparent. At the very outset, I must say that the State Legal Services Authority was very prompt in, and Honorable Executive Chairman didn't even take seconds in approving our proposal and the desire to hold this event. The purpose of this exercise is to have a cerebral and very educational and informative discourse on how to manage what appears to be a conflict and to understand whether actually there is any conflict, whether we can survive in peace with Mother Earth. Is my happiness and that of this earth, are they exclusive of each other or can they harmoniously coexist? In the wake of rapid global warming and depleting tree population, threatening the very existence of human civilization, the issue is, needless to mention, very, very relevant today, especially here where the life of every human being is directly related and dependent on nature. With heartfelt gratitude, I welcome Honorable Chief Justice of Calcutta High Court, Honorable Mr. Justice D.S.A. My Lord in his kindness had taken the trouble. Amidst his very, very busy schedule, you all know about the notification and this very immediately going to happen and all that. Lots of administrative responsibility, yet Lordship chose us for them. We are so proud of. Welcome, my Lord. I welcome thereafter, Honorable Senior Most Judge of Calcutta High Court, Honorable Mr. Justice I.P. Mukherjee, my Lord. We are grateful, Lordship, for taking the trouble of welcome, my Lord. I welcome Honorable Mr. Justice Sabyasachi Bhattacharya, Honorable Judge Calcutta High Court. Despite my Lord's engagement on 5th May at Calcutta, Lordship travelled all the way, reached Siliguri last night at 11 p.m. to go the trouble to be with us. We are grateful, my Lord. I welcome Honorable Mr. Justice Vivek Chaudhary, Honorable Judge Calcutta High Court, and Honorable Zonal Judge for Kalimpong District. Lordship has been an inspiration behind this event, and without his guidance and support, this occasion would not have been possible. Welcome, my Lord. The District Magistrate Kalimpong, Madam R. our constant support and inspiration. Welcome, Madam. The additional SP, Madam, representing SP, Madam, who will not be here. Welcome, Madam. The DFO, Mr. Chitrak Bhattacharya. Welcome, sir. This is all about your department. And we are going to have some interesting stories from Honorable Chief Justice about what your department is doing in the other parts of the country. Looking forward to it. The CMO, Dr. Subrata Rai, learned President, Secretary, and learned members of Bar Association Kalimpong. Welcome, all of you, sir. The Secretary, District Legal Services Authority, Mr. Ayan Majumdar, representing the state authority. Welcome, Mr. Majumdar. Representative of various NGOs, I'm sorry I cannot name all of you, and various departments of government who are here to enrich our visitors and us about the different welfare schemes that may help people to survive in this harsh terrains. Welcome all of you, and all other dignitaries who are present here. I may not be able to name all of you, but trust me, we are so grateful that you are gracing this occasion. Amidst all this deforestation, depletion and decay, the cultivators of Kalimpong, I'm very happy to share with you here, have started growing golden apples. And the gift of nature is enriching the lives of poor cultivators in some parts of Kalimpong. Yes, all is not lost. Survival is possible. Sans destruction. I welcome you, all of you, to this very enriching, very important event for us at D.L.S.A. Kalimpong. संपूर्ण लाभावासी प्रति आफ्नो व्यस्ततालाई पछाडि आज यहाँ उपस्थित भई दिनुभएकोमा म हार्दिक आभार व्यक्त गर्दछु। धन्यवाद।
Major Bhutia, the respected representative of Lava, to say a few words.
Some people look for the beautiful place, and the others make the place beautiful with their precious presence. On behalf of my community, Lega, and its adjoining villages, it's my great pleasure and privilege to welcome today's chief guest, Honorable Chief Justice D.S.A, Calcutta High Court and Executive Chairman, State Legal Service Authority, West Bengal. The Honorable Justice I.P. Mukherjee, the Honorable Justice Sabakshi Bhattacharya, the Honorable Justice Vivek Chaudhary, and all the distinguished guests, and my people of different villages and Lava Bazaar, and some students and the different department staffs. You all have spent your precious time to share with us on this mega legal awareness camp, and your presence has made our place and this day a very beautiful. The youth of Lega is very grateful to Kalimpong District Legal Service Authority for giving such an opportunity to organize this kind of program in our place, Lega. There will be no contradiction if I say today is a historic day for us, as maximum level of judiciary authority have present here. As I have given few minutes to deliver my speech, so I would like to take this opportunity to lay down some of our problems, few problems before this house. As today, the program is based on biodiversity, I would like to draw the attention of all the people gathered here as the people of rural area or the villages, we worship our nature and its forces. As the government with this act has protected flora and fauna of this zone, you can see Nyay Sabke Liye, justice for all. So, on the basis of this saying, I would like to again put before the House our very old demand in which we are victimized or deprived. As this organization committee has told me to speak in a local language, but मैले मेरो नेपाली भाषामा बोले भने तपाईहरुले त बुझ्नुहुन्छ, but in this program I want to convince the upper status of the society. The main problem is that we, the people people of Lega and its adjoining areas or the villages of Gram Panchayat worked or started our demand for separate block office since 2012. Main point of this problem is that due to the lack of correct information of the concerned department or the office on the zero ground level work, the two administrative building was built within the distance of 6 kilometers, which as a layman, as a common man, we all thought is a waste of public resources and injustice to the people of Lega and its adjoining villages. जितना भी villages हमारे गांव के बाद में है, उनके लिए ब्लॉक ऑफिस जाने के लिए ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा कम से कम 30 किलोमीटर की दूरी तय करनी पड़ती है. Legal procedures to gain our justice and justice for all. Thank you.
मुख्य न्यायाधीश महोदय अनि dignitaries of the dais, my friends gathered in this auditorium, students, सर्वप्रथम तपाईहरुको समक्षमा हामी न्यायाधीश महोदयहरुलाई धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छौं, कारण कालिम्पोङको लाभा जस्तो ठाउँमा आएर तपाईहरुसँग सम्पर्कमा आएर यो लिगल सर्भिसेसको बारेमा फरेस्ट को ड्वेलर्सको बारेमा उहाँले तपाईहरुलाई आफ्नो विचार आदान प्रदान गर्न उहाँले के कष्ट गराउनु भयो, त्यसको लागि हामी तपाईहरुको तर्फबाट पनि उहाँलाई धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छौं. सर्वप्रथम म के भन्न चाहन्छु भने आजको सब्जेक्ट छ फरेस्ट ड्वेलर्ससँग सम्बन्धित विषय. फरेस्ट ड्वेलर्स भनेको अब जंगलमा बस्ने, उहिले त फरेस्टमा बस्ने मान्छेले के गर्थे, दे युज्ड टु डिस्ट्रोय द फरेस्ट, हैन, जनावरहरू मारेर खान्थे, रुखहरू काट्थे, त्यस्तो फरेस्ट ड्वेलर्स थियो कुनै समयको टाइममा. अहिलेको जो भरिसको बासिन्दाहरू छ त्यसको जुन किसिमको सिस्टम छ, अहिले परिवेश छ, त्यो बदलिएको छ. अहिलेको फरेस्ट ड्वेलर्सको जिम्मेवारी फरेस्ट डिस्ट्रक्सन होइन, फरेस्टलाई भत्काउनु होइन, बिगार्नु होइन, त्यहाँको सम्पदालाई तोड्नु होइन, तर त्यसलाई सुरक्षा गर्नु. बासिन्दाले रेलीको टुप्पाको जङ्गललाई संरक्षण नगरेको भएदेखि, नबचाएको भएदेखि सायद कालिम्पोङको रेलीको पानी पनि सुक्थ्यो होला, अहिले खानु पाउने थिएन होला. पानीको स्रोतहरू जङ्गलमै हुन्छ अनि पहाडबाट सुरु भएको हुन्छ. त्यसकारण हामीलाई लाग्छ यसको जिम्मेवारी हामीमा ठुलो जिम्मेवारी भएको छ भन्ने हामी ठान्छौँ. र तपाईहरु यो लेखको जो भाषीहरू हुनुहुन्छ तपाईहरु भाग्यमानी हुनुहुन्छ, किनभने तपाईहरु प्रकृतिको छेउमा हुनुहुन्छ. यु आर क्लोजर टु द नेचर. जो प्रकृतिको नजिकमा हुन्छ उहाँहरू ईश्वरी हुन्छ, किनभने प्रकृतिले ईश्वर हुन्छ. र प्रकृतिको सामनेमा हुने, नजिकमा हुने मानिसहरूकोमा पनि ईश्वरीय शक्ति, ईश्वरीय भावना हुन्छ. अनि तपाईले जहिले पनि संरक्षण गरिरहनु भएको छ. अनि फेरि पनि आजको यो कार्यक्रममा पनि एउटा कटिबद्धता गरौँ, हामीले प्रत्येकले यो सम्पदालाई बचाउने अनि जोड्ने प्रण गरौँ भन्ने आग्रह गर्दै मेरो दुई शब्द यहाँ धन्यवाद सक्दछु. धन्यवाद.
Forest Officer Kalimpong Sri Chitra Bhattacharya to give his deliberation on our topic today.
2 years back, I was in a D.L.S.A meeting. I had come here, exactly in this same hall. And I still remember that there were some issues that was discussed with us. I hope to also tell our distinguished guests and all of us that some of the actions we have taken, but some of the issues that I would like to raise. When I came in this hall today morning only, I had a gentleman knock me and saying that no more felling of trees without permission. Last year, even during the leanest period of the year, during February and March, we had 30 elephants in Kalimpong. And it's a very small stretch where elephants can come. And with 30 elephants, we kept them over 2 months with 0 deaths. It shows that people are not also going in forest. We should not only take the credit. The people are also using the forest less. This is I implore you that you give us ideas, and if it's allowed by law, we will try to take it on our best way to make it possible. Thank you.
Namaskar. The whole dignitaries who came from far off places to visit this district, for the kind information of everyone, I just want to give a brief of the district. So this is a small district of West Bengal. It is having a population of 2.51 lakh, which is the smallest size of population. In the year 2017, it was bifurcated from Darjeeling district. It was the earlier subdivision. Now it has become a district, and gradually the infrastructures are coming up. This district is abundantly blessed by Mother Nature, and it is having all the beautiful rivulets and rivers. Because of that reason, public under D.L.S.A camp in their doorstep are Lakshmi Bandar, which is a social security scheme from the age of 25 to 60 years, without any difference between a general category, SC, ST. Everyone will be getting the social security pensions. I mean, they will be giving an incentive as a support from the government for their activities. And so many other pension schemes are also available. This Lakshmi Bandar is for women. So anyone who is turning 25, the government is there to support. Apart from that also, even the banks are brought to the villages, and they are with the support of our government machinery, the loans are being given. And the disability camps are also, we are conducting as near to the public as far as possible. In Lava also several camps have been conducted by the block administration. This district is having a population of 2.51 lakh as per 2011 census. It may be little more right now. It is having 37% of minorities and 30% of scheduled tribe population. 7% is scheduled caste. So majority of them are falling under either one of the category. Once again, thanking D.L.S.A for organizing such a wonderful awareness camp and bringing all the dignitaries here and giving me an opportunity to speak. Thank you. Thank you, madam.
Today we have assembled here in a mega legal awareness camp, biodiversity and existential problem of people in hilly areas, especially in Kalimpong and the adjoining districts. But as a zonal judge, it's my first duty to heartily welcome the Honorable the Chief Justice, Justice Lega. My Lord has consented kindly to attend this program, and His Lordship is with us. We are grateful, my Lord. We are having with us the senior most judge of the Honorable Calcutta High Court, Justice I.P. Mukherjee, and in spite of his schedule in the circuit bench of Jalpaiguri, and I hope it will be, you will be able to see the oath-taking ceremony in YouTube in live. So my Lord will be busy, my Lord Justice Mukherjee. In spite of that, my Lord readily agreed to come here and to share his views on this topic. My Lord Justice Bhattacharya, whenever I talk to them, in spite of his family commitment yesterday, he travelled long way from Kolkata to Shiliguri, reached Shiliguri at about 11:30 p.m. and then in the early morning he started for Lavan. So it shows His Lordship's interest to be here and to share his views with us. Therefore, as a zonal judge, sir, I am also grateful to you. So, I also thankful to the administration, the district magistrate, superintendent of police, and the relentless effort of our district judge, and of course, in association of the Bar Association of Kalimpong and other organizations, police department, the D.L.S.A is there. I welcome all of you as junior judge. Today I have been the happiest person if I could speak in Nepalese. And being a citizen of India and moreover in West Bengal, I think and I believe that we should know little bit of Nepalese because of the fact that this language has got its place in 7th schedule of the Constitution. But I'm sorry, it is my lapse that in spite of being the junior judge of Kalimpong, I'm not in a position to share my views in your language. So, please excuse me. Let me say a few words about this topic in English. So, you see that there are two key words in today's topic. One is biodiversity and other is existential problem. Now, what is biodiversity? We are practically regularly we are seeing this biodiversity. What is biodiversity? Biodiversity or biological diversity is the variety of variability of life on Earth. Biodiversity means a measure of variation at the genetic, species and ecosystem level. Biodiversity is not distributed evenly throughout the world. In more warm area, in the zone of equator, biodiversity is 90% more than other areas. Therefore, in these areas, in tropical zone, in the areas where generally the climate is summer climate, we will have primary productivity of biodiversical issues and biodiversical changes. Tropical forest ecosystem, you see, cover only 10% of the Earth's surface. But in 10% of this tropical forest ecosystem, it contains about 90% of the world's species. But the very unfortunate part is that due to rapid environmental changes, it causes a huge mass extinction of entire biodiversical changes are occurring, environment is growing, and due to the changes of environment, due to the changes of warming in the global world, you see, just before, 2 days before, Copenhagen, the capital of South Africa, it has been declared officially by the United Nations as a drought-stricken capital of the world. Days are not far off that if we run in this way without protecting our mother nature, the same thing will happen again. You see, the age of the earth is about 4.5 billion years. And an earliest undisputed evidence of life is found 3.7 billion years ago. Due to the change of biological and ecological system between living object and biological organism, the world began to change, causing destruction of number of living objects. There are certain species of animals in India which have been described as extinct during last 500 years. So that is the situation. I do not know. About 20 years back, when I visited this area, I used to see hornbill, number of hornbills flying to the top of the trees. I do not know. And how many hornbills are here at Kalimpong now? Practically, I do not find even a single hornbill from yesterday noon till today. That is the situation. So, a question will arise that if these biodiversity changes are going on, and if this has changed, our environment is changed, what will happen? It is happening for growth. Tunnels are created from Shiliguri through the hills of Kalimpong to Sikkim to set up broad gauge rail line. So it will be a scientific marvel, but scientific marvel has taken away the natural marvel, the mother nature, and number of tribes are also on the verge of extinction. Let me give you an example. Our great forefathers, from their experience, they came to know that if I lit fire, the animals will not come, the elephants will not come. They started lighting fire. Then they saw that if the fire is lit from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., thereafter the animal will not come. So from whole night, the period is reduced, forest produced are not set on fire, and it was lighting from 8 to 12. After few generations after, they found that this act is very monotonous. They started lighting the fire, and while lighting they started dancing. Tribal culture started to develop. Dances coming up. With the dances, songs are coming up. With the songs, the beats are coming up, beats of drums and others. A pure indigenous culture has grown up. Now, due to the extinction of forest, the tribal people, gradually diminishing. Forest is the forest man, the forest dwellers' right. That right is curtailed in 1927 by introducing Indian Forest Act, specifically for the purpose that suited the British rulers. What happened? They indiscriminately cut forest produce, big trees, mainly to prepare sleepers, railway sleepers and furnitures. The same thing is continued. In Forest Act 1927, though it has been amended subsequently time and again, giving this right to the forest dwellers, some right, but there is a gap between the policy, preservative policy, whether we should preserve the forest, or destructive policy, and the destructive policy. Even today, the big merchants, I know because I worked here, taking one forest hammer mark for certain amount of produce which has been auctioned by our DFO, from our DFO office, trucks and trucks of forest producer timber are practically sent to different areas, even different countries. So, there is obvious destruction of forest. You see, North Bengal comprising of the districts of Darjeeling, Kalimpong, Alipurduar, Coach Bihar, Uttar Dinajpur, all these areas, these areas have a very beautiful riverine forest with biodiversity, creating mosses and peculiar ecosystem for the people of the hill areas, but they are gradually cut. I was not born. Maybe the senior advocates were there. Our president of the bar may have that experience that after 1962 India-China war, Binnaguri military cantonment was set up in Binnaguri, cutting miles and miles of forests. By this way, the natural corridor of elephant and other animals were blocked, and there is no longer any place for those animals to roam about. Now they are coming to the dwelling houses for their food, they are coming to other areas, they are coming to tea gardens, they are destroying the agricultural land. But this is the problem, this is man-made problem, these are the created problems. So here, D.L.S.A has the positive role. What the D.L.S.A can do, we have our paralegal volunteers. We can explain the right of the forest dwellers to them. We have Indian Forest Act. We have, I have told already, we have Environment Protection Act. We have Scheduled Castes, Scheduled Tribes, Protection of Right in Forest Areas Act. So, they have their right to stay inside the forest. But their rights and of course their duties are to be taught, are to be told to them. And for this reason, not this mega legal awareness camp, small group of legal awareness camp are very necessary. Secondly, I should ask you that the policy, government policy to, as a part of afforestation, government policy is to plant exotic species of eucalyptus and akashmoni instead of indigenous species of shal, piyal, mohua, kind, etc. For the foothills and dwarfs and tarai areas, I hope these types of trees and of course tea are very good indigenous saplings which we may provide to them, and our paralegal volunteers are ready to help the forest department in this purpose. Why I am telling this? From the indigenous tree, they are making their utensils from shal leaves. The tubers are used as food. The flowers of shal is used to extract oil, and those oil are used as a medicine. Not only that, they prepare liquor from mohua. So that they regularly purchase water, paying 300 rupees per drum in Kalimpong. Our natural source in Kalimpong was the various streams. Those streams are blocked not only by throwing plastics, but also due to creation of railway tracks, due to in the name of urbanization and industrialization. Yes, we require urbanization. Yes, we require industrialization, but we will have to balance, and a sustainable development is absolutely required. So this is where the D.L.S.A should act. This is where the D.L.S.A should work. And another thing, I request the Forest Department also, like Police Department, don't make it a point for the forest rangers to give certain amount of cases in each and every week and each and every month against the forest dwellers for taking some twigs or taking some branches of the tree and putting them inside the bar. Those cases where the amount of theft of forest produce is very little. My personal opinion is that those cases should be taken as petty cases and in one go by passing some amount of fine or similar type of sentence, those cases are disposed of. And really the cases against the forest merchants are to be looked into very strictly so that they can be punished. We have our right, it is protected, it is also sustainable development of forest dwellers and hill people. It is a part of our constitutional right to life under Article 21. Maintenance of flora and fauna, it is the fundamental duty. The directive principle of state policy says that we will have to protect our forest areas. So these things are to be told and are to be taught to the common men in their common Nepali language, sitting on their khatiyas, sitting on their houses. If it is done, then only social justice can be done in a real term and the ideology of the Constitution can be protected. With this, with all respect and for bearing me with such patience, I am ending. Namaskar.
Thank you, my lord.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Chief Justice, Justice Mukherjee, Justice Chaudhary, all the other dignitaries present here, and all other present here. Now, I would first assure you that I'll try to be as short as possible to make way for Justice Mukherjee and Justice, the Chief Justice. But before that, I'd like to share certain things. I have come here not to tell you something, but to share certain things, some of my experiences, my beliefs. Now, as far as Nepalese language is concerned, I share my emotions with Justice Chaudhary. It would be nice if I could share with you mostly in Nepalese, but if I try to speak Nepalese, although I understand a little bit of Nepalese and Hindi, but if I try to speak Nepalese, some of the people whose mother tongue is Nepalese, they may forget Nepalese. So I won't try that out. But speaking of Nepalese, I remember in my mother tongue Bengali, there's a saying, Dao Fireshe Oronno. Dao Fireshe Oronno roughly translates to give us back our forest. Now it's so relevant nowadays. We see, I used to come to North Bengal from a long time. It's one of my passions. My family and I have come here for several times. Now, not only Lega, Lega, this region, Lepcha Jagat and other regions, but also other parts of North Bengal. And I love North Bengal like anything. But in recent times when I have been coming, we have been noticing that there are certain changes in not only the forest structure, but in general, in the natural resources. We are becoming a little bit more artificial, not the people, but the area. By that I mean that there are, as civilization is advancing, so-called or progressed civilization, now the nature is taking a setback. And the difficulty is we are gobbling up nature and parts of forests to build our own structures and concrete jungles. That is necessary for progress. Constructions are necessary, industrialization is necessary, agriculture is all the more necessary, particularly in a country like India. But we have to look after our forests also. Now it's where everybody knows that what are the bad effects, the adverse effects of deforestation. Now when forests are lost, there are several changes, all of us know that, we read it in the newspapers also. Speaking about climate change and the ecological balance, when I was coming up, a gentleman was driving me, he drove me, I was having a conversation with him. Now we were speaking about Nathula Pass, I had gone there a few months back. Just a few days after I came back with my family, we had heard that there was a landslide sort of thing and there was an accident also. Some tourists were involved, some local people were involved. Now these things we are having a talk that the cold wave in Nathula, which is also relevant to our place, this Labha and these North Bengal regions. Now that cold wave this time is extending far, far more than its normal course. So this is one of the times of the year which is a very good season for going there. But what is happening now, several parts of Nathula Pass and those regions, those are blocked because of ice and because of frost and other things. Now this change of climate is having a toll on everything, on every part of our life. Apart from this climate change, there is soil erosion also, which is a direct effect of this deforestation, removing of forests and cutting of trees and felling of trees. Now, soil erosion is the upper crust of the soil, which is the fertile portion and which gives much benefits to agriculture and other aspects of the matter. The soil is being eroded very fast due to rain and natural calamities. One of the reasons is that we are cutting our forests and felling our trees. That is one of the other reasons. Now we also see that this biodiversity ecosystem, most of us know what is ecosystem by now, because there is a system by which there is a food chain. Some animals feed on others and they feed in turn they feed on plants, and there is an entire ecosystem which is operating, which sustains our life on this planet Earth. But this ecosystem, this biodiversity, that is being directly affected adversely due to our cutting of trees and the progress of civilization, so-called. Now, there are certain laws. Speaking about laws, as Justice Chaudhary rightly pointed out, Indian Forest Act is an act of 1927, undergone several changes. Now, there are certain aspects of that act which are also beneficial for us. I mean, there are three categories of forests basically under the Forest Act. One is a reserved forest, which is entirely reserved, the flora and fauna and the wildlife. The other is protected forests. Some sections of the vegetation and other aspects of it, those are protected. This is the second category. There's a third category which has evolved in recent times, which is village forests. Now, I am speaking only from the Act itself. It is not outside that law. In the law, there is provision for reserve forests, protected forests, and village forests. Now, what is the concept of village forests? There are several forest dwellers and people who sustain their livelihood on nature, from trees, from wildlife itself. Now, these people, the autonomy is given to them, and autonomy is given to them. The administration, some of the powers of the administration are given to these village communities so that they can run the entire gamut of the entire operation of the law and the entire forestation and other aspects of the matter, they can protect their own forests, which is a very responsible thing to do if you can implement that. Now, flora, fauna, these trees and other aspects and the flowers, apart from this, there is a huge wildlife problem also in our country. Wildlife is gradually vanishing and we are encroaching upon their territory. So this also has to be looked into. The conservation of forest does not merely mean plant and vegetation. There are living creatures there whom we also have to think of. There are other aspects also. There are medicinal herbs in this part of the country, and particularly North Bengal and the Himalayan range, Labha, Lega, and all several parts of Kalimpong also, in other Korsiong, other regions also. Now there are several medicinal herbs. What is happening is the local people, sometimes we use those things to cure ourselves because of lack of hospitals and other things. But the medicinal herbs are being exploited like anything. Those are being exported at huge prices. And the people who live in the locality, they remain as it is. I mean, they don't gain any benefits financially or otherwise from those export of those medicinal herbs. So that is one of the unique features of North Bengal and Labha in particular, that the medicinal herbs are there. It's a rich culture of medicinal herbs which we are using to commercial projects, and the local people are not getting the benefit of that. What about channelizing those things through the local people so that they can also reap a benefit out of these exports and the marketing of these medicinal herbs? Apart from medicinal herbs, there is timber. There is extremely rich collection of timber woods in this part of the country. Now we have to be aware of that. Definitely we need timber for furniture. We cannot say we will be living on the floor. That's not a practical reality. Furniture is required, everything is required, but even then we have to move to a society which is more congenial to preservation of nature. Now we, as you know, courts are also moving towards the direction of paperless work. What is paperless work? Paper means timber. We are felling trees, we are cutting the trees, taking their bark and using them for making manufacture of large-scale paper. Instead of paper, if we could shift to e-governance and other things, although that's a dream in India till now because there will be a social divide. Several people don't even have access to net packs, convenience net packs, so they cannot have access to internet. But gradually we should move towards a society which is more dependent on this internet system and the entire e-governance. That will reap a benefit that we have to use less papers there. So in this fashion, not only courts but the delivery of justice and administration, this can be taken as a concerted effort. All of us can do something to protect and preserve the forests, which will give rise to and encourage biodiversity, which in turn will help not only the local people, the forest dwellers, but people in general, all over the parts of the country. The ecotourism, which was spoken of very correctly by one of my friends here, the ecotourism, the tourists have to be more responsible. Tourism is not all about plastic bottles and eating potato chips and all these things. Tourism is also to understand and appreciate the feel of the area. To get that, we have to preserve our forests. Therefore, responsible ecotourism is one of the aspects which can lead this zone, Lava and the surrounding areas, to a much better economy also, because so much is dependent on tourism here. So there has to be a balance between ecotourism, timber, medicinal herbs, export of those and use for indigenous things, reasons by local people, and there has to be a balance between the commerce as well as the livelihood of the people. The people who are for generations dependent on the forest, they cannot be deprived of the livelihood outright by saying please don't cut trees, fell trees, but preserve those. Preserving for whom? If the people of the area, the local people, they cannot benefit of the forests, then why should we preserve it for posterity? These people, if they suffer. So we have to take care. There's the livelihood of the local forest dwellers, people who are dependent on the forests. Those are taken care of, and after taking care of that, we also have to keep a balance, strike a balance between preserving the forests and the livelihood of these people. So this is all about the topic, balancing biodiversity and existential crisis of forest dwellers. We have to preserve biological diversity, but look after the forest dwellers' existence also, as well. So there are several experts on these topics who will be much better suited than me. I am just a judge, I just adjudicate in courts. But I am not an expert in anything. But I feel, as a lover of this part of the country, that our people should be more aware of biodiversity, and how can that be of direct benefit to the people of the area. So that is all. Thank you very much. I wanted to share this with you.
My Lord the Chief Justice, my brothers on the bench, Justice Bhattacharya and Justice Chaudhary, Lord District Judge, respected District Magistrate, Divisional Forest Officer, President of the Bar, representative of Lega, and ladies and gentlemen. At least I see it in this way, that whatever I talk to you should concern legal awareness connected with biodiversity. We have heard a lot about biodiversity. Before starting, I would like to say that this place is so full of natural beauty. There is so much of happiness and peace here, so much influence of religion, that among most people there should be least legal dispute, far less need to go to courts, and also to avail of the services of the District Legal Services Authority. But should you need it, it is always there, and always there to help all of you. Now, since there is such abundance of natural beauty, it also necessarily has to have its consequence. The consequence is that the region with abundance of natural beauty is a little socially and economically behind other regions. Now, if that is the case, what has happened and what is happening is that a large number of people have to fell trees, to have logwood, to light fire, to heat their homes, thereby curtailing the natural beauty of the forests. Of course, as my learned friends have spoken before, that forests are being commercially vandalized by some people against which the Forest Act and other laws are there to prevent such action and to take legal action against such wrongs. Now, the leaves of trees, as was pointed out by one of the speakers, is also used for cattle feed. Now let us leave out for the time being the commercial exploitation of forests against which action has been spoken about and which should be made as minimum as possible. Let us concentrate on the problem of the vast majority of local people of lack of wood or utilization of forest wood by many for the purpose of cooking or for keeping themselves warm. Now the solution, as the learned district magistrate had pointed out, one of the solutions is it might come out of more generation of hydel power. If there is more generation of hydel power, that power might be used to heat homes and also to light fire for cooking. But then that is expensive, and I would request the government to take all moves to subsidize electricity tariff here so that more power is used by people for those purposes. Secondly, there must be industrial development. Now, industrial development suiting the natural environment. Now, if industrial development has to take place, then as you all know, the inputs, all the raw materials have to be carried up the hills here for the purpose of manufacture. There also the government has been providing subsidy. There is need for more subsidy so that the production here, the cost of production here is competitive with the cost in the plain, so that industry here can be set up and industry here can grow. And more source of livelihood for people, more economic advancement, and less need to fall back upon nature. Now, as far as my former speakers have spoken about construction, this is something very awful which is happening here. Last month I went to Mussoorie. I found that the natural destruction of that, natural beauty of that place is almost gone. It's full of commercial buildings. We had horses there plying on the mall. All those horses have been taken off. Rickshaws have been taken off, and dozens of cars are plying on all the roads. Now, this does not befit the hill culture. Hill culture is something different. You have to stick to that culture. It is more based on walking, and where people are informed. Rickshaws are used which do not use petroleum, which do not use gas, so as to save this place from pollution. Only a limited area must be permitted for making construction, and that's all. And the rest of the area preserved in its natural beauty. Now we come to some legal issues. Now, social and economic backwardness is bound to create problems arising out of alcoholism. There is bound to be among people property disputes, matrimonial disputes, commercial disputes out of dealings between people, and of course disputes in which women are affected. The Legal Services Authority is here to provide assistance to you in all respects, and much emphasis now is given on pre-litigation dispute resolution. Even before, when the germs of dispute arise, take the help of our authority and sit down and try to resolve the dispute before it goes further. If it has reached the courts, then please avail of the Lok Adalat, please avail of mediation so that there is settlement of disputes between the parties. Of course, the judges here are there to help you in any litigation. If they find that there is an element of settlement, it is within their power to immediately refer the matter to the Lok Adalat for that, so that it is resolved amicably between the people. And do not think that Lok Adalat is only for resolution of civil disputes. You can go to Lok Adalat, or you can avail of mediation, even to resolve cases arising out of alleged criminal offences. Some criminal offences which are compoundable. Theft is a compoundable criminal offence. Bouncing of check is a compoundable criminal offence. Those can be resolved by mediation. Those can be resolved by Lok Adalat. Matrimonial dispute regarding alimony, maintenance, those can be resolved by Lok Adalat. Some kind of property disputes also can be resolved by Lok Adalat. So be assured, be convinced that we are here, that in the unlikely event that you fall into a legal dispute. In the unlikely event that you have to approach a court of law, we are there. Thank you very much, and I am sure you are waiting with bated breath to hear the Chief Justice.
Most respected brothers, Honorable Justice I.P. Mukherjee, Honorable Justice Sabishaji Bhattacharjee, Honorable Justice Vivek Chaudhary, Judges of the High Court at Calcutta, your dynamic District Judge Dr. Durga Keita, Madam District Magistrate Srimati R. Vimala, Madam Superintendent of Police Srimati Aparajita Rai, and Madam Additional Superintendent of Police who is here, Deputy Secretary of the West Bengal State Legal Services Authority, Mr. Ayn Mazmundar, Mr. Bhattacharya, the Division Forest Officer, Kalimpong, Mr. Dewan, the President of the Bar Association, Kalimpong, Mrs. Srimati Bhutia, representative of Lava, Mr. Vishal Magrati, Secretary, D.L.S.A. Kalimpong, the other learned judges of the Kalimpong District Judiciary, the senior advocates, the junior advocates, the law students, members of the citizenry of Lava and Kalimpong, special invitees, members of the press and electronic media, ladies and gentlemen. I thought of saying good morning, but we have passed 12, so it is good afternoon. Yesterday we arrived in Kalimpong around about 5:30 p.m. I was feeling really blessed. Yesterday being Buddha Purnima, and it was a rare coincidence that we landed in this wonderful and marvelous and beautiful place on such an auspicious day. My previous speakers have elaborated on the question on what is the legal framework, what is your duty, what is the duty of the public resources, etc. So I will not bother you with that because already you are fully enriched of the legal framework, etc. Before we move on to what will be interesting according to me, I thought I should quote Gautam Buddha. I quote, "The forest is a peculiar organism of unlimited kindness and benevolence that makes no demand for its sustenance and extends generously the products of its life activity. It affords protection to all beings, offering shade even to the axeman who destroys it." Please translate.
My लर्डले भन्न चाहनुहुन्छ कि वन जङ्गल जति दयालु सायदै केही छन् होला। वन जङ्गलले आफ्नै निम्ति केही माग्दैनन्, तर सधैँ सबैलाई निस्वार्थ रूपमा दान गरिरहेको हुनुहुन्छ। यसले तिनलाई पनि मद्दत गर्नुहुन्छ जसले ऊमाथि वनचोरले प्रहार गर्छ।
Gautam Buddha further said, "No one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path."
हामीलाई कसैले रक्षा गर्दैन, हामीले आफैलाई नै रक्षा गर्नुपर्छ। हामी त्यो पथमा हिँड्नुपर्छ।
The teachings of Guru is pregnant with meaning. I feel Lord Gautam Buddha had given this divine message, bearing in mind that the wealth of a nation lies in the hills and not in the plains. So if that is so, what is our responsibility today? There are judges, there are executives, there are representatives of the people, and the most important limb of the society, the learned advocates are present. Police officers are here, members of the public are here, students are there. So, what is our responsibility? Each one should have a responsibility. So the underlying principle is you protect environment and she will protect you. That's the simple mantra. Whatever as Lord Gautama Buddha has said, you protect the environment, it will protect you. Because we must only take care of the environment because she has been constantly giving to us. In fact, as said by Lord Buddha, that she gives the environment that forest gives, offering shade even to the axeman who destroys the forest. After axing a tree, he will take rest under another tree for the shade. So therefore, as citizens are residing in this hilly terrain, there is an additional responsibility on each one of you to protect the environment. It is true, the tourism is a very big industry, and people come from the plains are not always responsible, as said by my previous speakers. Littering of forest areas, when our DFO spoke, trekking is permitted, camping is permitted, but responsible trekking, responsible camping. Because people think, I am here for 5 days, let me live as I live and leave it. So they leave behind a huge trail of so much of garbage, which are all non-biodegradable waste. And as our district magistrate has said, because of the peculiarness of the terrain, you cannot transport this sort of garbage to a place for treating the municipal waste or solid waste. So you will have to self-sustain because of the terrain, because of the long distances. If it is in a plains, we have got the solid waste management systems where it can be transported in bulk and done. So these are all what as citizens of this area can contribute. My brother, Justice I.B. Mukherjee, had lamented how Mussoorie has lost its charm. On account of globalization, industrialization, so-called all sorts of development, people have forgotten the past. But still, there are a lot number of people who all of you are gathered here, and I am confident that there is a spark in each one of you to protect environment in what little way you can do. First, it is very easy for all of us to say protect environment, protect environment. But there are people who are dependent on the forest. My previous speakers have said about the forest dwellers. Their rights are already protected by law. So we cannot make an arbitrary decision. The representative was saying about the environmentally sensitive zone demarcation. She has pointed out some issues regarding demarcation. So, but what about these forest dwellers? They live inside the forest and they eke their livelihood by collecting forest produce. And this forest produce is being sold to intermediaries and at very, very nominal price. As a result of which, they continue to remain in a state of poverty. So, this is where the D.L.S.As, the judges, the learned lawyers, the executive authorities of the district have to educate them. Because as Justice Abhishek Bhattacharya has pointed out that you have got very rare medicinal herbs in this area. None of us know what is the value of those herbs when it is sold outside the country, exported. Probably 100 times or 1,000 times of what was paid to the person who risked his life to collect those herbs. So therefore, these people need to be educated, need to be told that yes, as a forest dweller, you are entitled to reside in the forest, collect the forest produce, but those rights also are coupled with duties. And many a time, these forest dwellers do not know about the legal framework. Legal framework is there because they are not educated. And as a result of which, they come in conflict with law. They are being arrested, they are being put in behind bars, they are in correctional homes. People don't have enough money to get them out on bail. Or there are very stringent provisions are being cases have been registered against him where there is a statutory bar for the person to come out on bail. So many issues are there. So what shall we do about it? Before we think on those, I'd like to share a very incident. It's not a story, it's an incident which occurred in my parent state when I was there sitting as a judge of the High Court of Madras. Madras, the state of Tamil Nadu has also got wonderful hilly terrain. We have got rare species of trees, herbs, shrubs, everything, flora and fauna. Very large tracts of grassland, acres and acres of grassland. And it borders the state of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Of course, now it has been split into them. And in that particular forest, which is a very hilly terrain, much higher than Lava and Kalimpong, probably much higher than Darjeeling also, but there is not much of development. But there are forest dwellers of that tribe. They reside inside the core of the forest. Now there is an attempt to relocate them, they are resisting, etc. They are supposed to eat their livelihood by collecting the forest produce and selling it to the market. There are no facilities, probably weekly once there is a bus. There is a school, but there is no teacher. There is a primary health center, there is no nurse. When the nurse comes, there are no medicines. The doctor comes once in 15 days. And he or she has to return back by 3 p.m. because of fearing of attack by wild animals. So this is the difficult terrain. As a result of which, out of poverty, these people are being exploited. And there is an exotic species of red sanders grows there. One of the best quality of red sanders in the country grows in those hills. And this tribe, they are called silent woodcutters. You would have heard about woodcutters. They use the axe. And what happens if you strike an axe to the wood? You definitely hear a noise. But this particular tribe, there are around 350 people living in the core of the forest. They are such experts that there is not a single noise emitted when they chop a tree. And what happens is, these smugglers, what they do, because red sanders is a scheduled timber, you cannot cut down. Even if it's in your private property, you require the permission of a committee headed by probably the D.L.S.A, etc. There are timber transit rules are there, transportation there. So it is better that even if you have a red sanders tree or a deep tree in your compound, better keep seeing and enjoying it than trying to cut it down, because it is next to impossible to get permission from the district forest officer to cut and remove the tree. The problem is, if it's a wind-fallen tree also, it will be difficult to remove. So what happens is, these people are in utter state of poverty. They don't have food, as a result of which what happens, they get intoxicated by 2 p.m. or 1 p.m. because of hunger, pangs of hunger. And the children are left all alone. These people, the illegal timber merchants, they approach them. They approach them and they say, we require this amount of quantity, you please procure it. A good amount is fixed, paid to the family. So all the men folk in the tribal hamlet, they will go on a journey because they know where it grows. So the job is accomplished in 5 days. A 60 feet long timber will be brought by a single cutter on a shoulder downhill without any help of a crane or any mechanism. So that is the tribe. So what happened was, these people, I think unknowingly or knowingly, treaded into the territory forest area of the neighboring state. And in that, there were 3 groups which are operating. And I think around 35 people were shot dead. Point blank range, they were shot dead. Created a hue and cry. And that's how the matter came to the High Court. Based upon a report given by the District Legal Services Authority, a chairman, like district judge here, the district judge in the concerned area said that so many people from our state who are forest dwellers. This tribe was there. They went there and had been shot, and a lot of issues, National Human Rights Commission, etc. Then, based on that report, the High Court took up the matter. What was the problem? Because these people were not, you can't pull them out. You can't, if you bring them to the plains, their life will be shortened. They can't leave the forest. They are so attached to it. At the same time, they don't want to destroy the forest, but they want to protect the forest. But they don't have the basic necessities in life. They don't have even 2 square meals a day. The children do not go to school. There is no hospital. There are no other facility. Their government schemes are not extended because these scheme cards are not being. In fact, District Magistrate was saying about the scheme she has been implementing here. There, it's such a hilly terrain, it's so very difficult. That's where the High Court, I was part of the bench in that matter, along with my Chief Justice. We issued directions. And you won't believe it, one member of the bar, he volunteered. He volunteered to go all alone and said he'll do something, he'll make a study, and in his report, he mentioned about this very rare trait of silent woodcutters. It was really a surprise and a shock for us. We were educated reading the report. The other flip side of it is he highlighted what are all the problems they are undergoing. So when the law touches them for something they have done, knowingly or unknowingly, it's very difficult for them to extricate. So as a result of which they develop a hatred to all of us. They don't like us at all because you don't treat me properly. You are putting me behind bars. What else can I do? I don't have a voter card. I don't have an Aadhaar card. There's no basic facilities. So this is where the community, the District Legal Services Authority can work together. And based on that report of the advocate who went there, as well as the D.L.S.A chairman and secretary, the directions were issued. The government revived the school. 2 teachers volunteered from the plains to go for 4 days and a week. They will stay there. Accommodation was there. The midday meal scheme was implemented. And I am told now about 4 to 5 years later, there are not much of repeat offences. Of course, it does happen here and there, but not much of repeat offences. So therefore, this was a clear live example. If you rehabilitate them, if you provide them the necessity, the next generation doesn't commit that crime. So therefore, all of you please bear this in mind. And the legal framework will definitely assist you. The D.L.S.A will assist you, or PLBs will assist you. You come with ideas. The learned members of the bar, senior members of the bar can come with ideas so that we will be able to take forward. As State Legal Services Authority, we are here to extend all that we can do for the District Legal Services Authorities to do their to take forward the schemes of National Legal Services Authority. Therefore, I once again would reiterate what Lord Gautam Buddha said. No one can save us but ourselves. So the responsibility lies on each one of us. We come from the plains. We have to be responsible. Avoid drinking water from plastic bottles. Or if you drink water from plastic bottles, carry the bottle back to the plains. Give it to the incinerator and get it thrown. So partly everyone is responsible. Each day, I am told by people that, in fact, our Honorable Zonal Judge Justice Chaudhary said that people are buying water in the hills. When we find so much of water flowing, it was such a picturesque place when I came yesterday. River Dist is full, hydel projects are there, but there is no water to drink. What happened? Darjeeling is still worse. I have been to Darjeeling, it's still worse. It is also the same position in my parent state. In all hilly terrain, people are affected by on account of water, lack of water. That is because of illegal exploitation of the natural resources at all levels. This perpetuates into landslides. So therefore, this problem can also be addressed. So suppose we think of putting up an additional room in our house. a normal person in the plains will apply to the local municipality, get a permission. But the laws here on hilly areas are more stringent. So you need to think on those lines. How do I make my construction environmentally friendly? How do I comply with the law, not break the law? So therefore, if any requirement is there, you feel that you require proper legal advice. D.L.S.A is there, the doors are always open. PLVs are there for you to interact with them. So I think this has been a wonderful opportunity for him. And one more uniqueness I found in Kalimpong. The district judge, the district magistrate, the superintendent of police and the additional superintendent of police are all ladies. So let us congratulate. In fact, it is a very rare coincidence. This is women power. So therefore, so always the women have the inherent motherly affection. So this you'll find in all four of them. So whatever problem you have, you go to them, there will be a tinge of that affection in you. Even if you have committed a wrong, the way they will deal with you will be definitely different. And I congratulate our Learned District Judge, Dr. Durga Geeta, her entire team, all officers, for organizing this wonderful function and making our stay so memorable. It was my first visit. I have gone to Kurseong, I have gone to Darjeeling, but this is the first visit to Kalimpong and Lava. I think I will have one more opportunity to come to this place. The presence of Senior Judge Justice I.P. Mukherjee, Justice Abhishek Bhattacharya, Justice Big Chaudhary has added so much of luster and importance to this program. I thank you, sirs, for all your august presence. And the other wings of the administration, the Forest Department is here, the Revenue is here, the Police Department is here, and the representative of Lava, and more importantly, the members of the noble profession, the learned members of the bar of the Kalimpong, of Lava are also here. And all your untiring efforts has made this program a grand success. And I once again thank each one of you for patiently hearing me, and I wish all of you all the best. God bless you.
उहाँले भन्नुभयो कि वन बासिन्दाहरूलाई कति आइन कानुनहरूको बारेमा याद छैन, त्यही कारण त्यो याद नभएकोले गर्दाखेरि उहाँहरू कतिवटा खण्डमा शोषित हुनुहुन्छ। त्यही कारण हाम्रो D.L.S.A ले जनजागरुकता प्रोग्रामहरू गरेर उहाँहरूलाई यो हाम्रो आइनले के हक दिन्छ, के उहाँहरूको ड्युटिज हो, के जिम्मेवारी हो, त्योहरूको बारेमा उहाँहरूलाई जनाउनुपर्छ। थ्याङ्क यू।
एउटा पोइन्ट राख्न चाहन्छु, लाभामा कुनै काम धन्दै छैन, कुनै अफिसै छैन गभर्मेन्टको जहाँ हामीले काम गर्न सक्छौँ, त्यो मान्छे चाहिँ कहाँ गएर सर्भाइभ गर्ने, त्यो हो क्वेसन।
My Lord, he wants to know that since Lava is not much educationally advanced place, and here there is a lot of unemployment, and he is asking if a poor man wants to construct a house, and if he is prohibited by the department, concerned department, and there is stoppage of employment also for, because the carpenters are also involved in that. So how will he survive?
Of Lava. As judges, we cannot comment on this, because as judges, we cannot comment. But eco-sensitive zone, there is some study conducted at a very high level. In fact, our district forest officer is there. And this problem is there throughout the country. There are a lot of cases being filed in the High Court saying that the demarcation has virtually taken off half the village. And saying that this half the village falls within the eco-sensitive zone, you cannot do anything. We will issue charge to them. And for us, it is not proper for us to comment on this. But if there is a genuine issue, like that is when the demarcation process is going on, if the revenue and the forest have to join together to do it. And if there is any problem of saying that the survey has not been conducted properly, that issue can be addressed to the district administration or to the concerned authority, and then it can be done. So the problem is that even in the plains, if a poor man wants to construct, he can't construct anywhere he wants. So there are rules. What else to do? We have to survive. And if at all you'll have to take legal advice from our president of Bharat Station is here, other advocates are there, they will guide you. Okay?
Thank you.
Do certain activities to protect the land from landslides.
It's always inadequate. But this is a government work which requires funds to do, everything requires funds to do it. Even if we send a proposal, if it's not approved, it will not be done. And there is another issue, जिसके लिए landslides ज़्यादा दिखता है, is because lava is now getting connected with roads. So when road construction happens, sites से constant landslides होता है, which is almost impossible to stop. So, but we can send a proposal with the, as you have said, but if the government agrees, then only we can go ahead with the work.
Thank you, D.L.S.A. With permission of Honorable Chief Justice and other Honorable Judges, I'll just add one line. ये जो deforestation हो रहा है और ये जो landslide हो रहा है, इनके बीच में बहुत गंभीर संपर्क है और इसी को हम समझें, इसी के लिए आज इतनी तामझाम किया है हमने कि ये हम एक पेड़ काटते हैं, लगता है कुछ नहीं हुआ, जरा सा लकड़ी हुआ, लेकिन वही कलेक्टिवली ये लैंडस्लाइड और ये सबको लीड करता है. जो पेड़ की जड़ें हैं वो ज़मीन को पकड़ के रखती हैं. तो इसलिए लैंडस्लाइड में जैसे गवर्नमेंट रोकेगी, हम सब भी पेड़ लगाकर भविष्य में और लैंडस्लाइड न हो, इसको रोक सकते हैं. धन्यवाद.
र भोलिको दिनमा यो पानीको समस्या चाहिँ हामीले कहाँबाट समाधान गर्न सक्छौँ र हामीले त्यहाँबाट कुनै पर्मिसन पायो भने हामीले पानीको लागि ल्याएर हाम्रो रिक्वायरमेन्ट पुरा गर्न सक्छौँ.
Forest only in Kalimpong. So by taking special permissions and applying in Parivesh portal, PHED, that is working on Jal Jeevan Mission, GTA which is looking after PHE, and PHE Neurakala, which is again a reserve forest resource. From there only we are taking water for doing this Jal Jeevan Mission, which brings potable water, tap water to every household. This is a drinking water project. It will be completed by 2024. So for taking water from the forest area, the department is taking action as per rules. Who's the fire?
Thank you, madam. I feel honored to have been bestowed with this opportunity to tender a vote of thanks in this August assembly. Honorable Chief Guest, Justice T.S. Sivagana, the Honorable Chief Justice High Court at Calcutta, and Executive Chairman, West Bengal State Legal Services Authority, Honorable Guest of Honor, Justice I.P. Mukherjee, Honorable Senior Most Judge, High Court at Calcutta, Honorable Guest of Honor, Justice Sabyasachi Bhattacharya, Honorable Judge, High Court at Calcutta, Honorable Guest of Honor, Justice Vivek Chaudhary, Honorable Judge, High Court at Calcutta, and Journal Judge Kalimpong, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Namaskar, good afternoon. I do believe that this day will be more memorable for the people of this tiny hamlet for the reason that we observed the auspicious Buddha Purnima in the last year, and today we are blessed with the august presence of the Honorable Chief Justice along with 3 Honorable Justices from our very own parent High Court, the Honorable Calcutta High Court. The words of wisdom of your Lordships, interspersed with abundance of compassion for the marginalized sections of the society, and insightful deliberations touching the subject, balancing biodiversity and existential crisis of forest dwellers, role of D.L.S.A, I believe have immensely enriched each of these stakeholders witnessing this event. From the deliberations, what we get is that at a time when we are facing unprecedented environmental challenges, it is more important than ever that we find ways to protect our natural resources while also meeting the needs of those who rely on them for their very survival. We have understood that biodiversity is essential to the health and well-being of our planet. It provides us with clean air and water, fertile soil, and a host of other benefits that are essential to our survival. Unfortunately, however, our natural resources are under threat. Deforestation, pollution, and climate changes are just a few of the many challenges that we face. At the same time, many forest dwellers are facing an existential crisis. These individuals have lived in harmony with nature for centuries, relying on the forest for their food, shelter, and livelihoods. But now, as their habitats are destroyed and the ways of life is threatened, they find themselves on the brink of extinction. One important step to address this complex issue is to ensure that legal rights of forest dwellers are protected. This is where the District Legal Services Authority can play a pivotal role. The D.L.S.A is uniquely positioned to help forest dwellers navigate the complex legal system and advocate for their rights. By providing legal assistance and support, the D.L.S.A can help ensure that forest dwellers are able to access the resources they need to survive and thrive. But the D.L.S.A cannot do it alone. We all have a role to play in supporting sustainable development practices, reducing our carbon footprint, and working to preserve biodiversity wherever possible. Despite the D.L.S.A's busy schedule, and also without wondering for a break over the distance and travel hazards, the D.L.S.A have devoted this moment to us and guided us through the program. The D.L.S.A Kalimpong, Kalimpong Judiciary, and the whole of Kalimpong is indebted for such gesture. Gratitude, smilers. The very concept of organizing today's program has its genesis to respected Dr. Durga Khaitan Madam, the learned District Judge Kalimpong and Chairperson of Kalimpong D.L.S.A. Her guidance and enthusiastic support have indeed been a backbone to make this program happen. Thank you, Madam. The constant aid extended by the learned judicial officers of Kalimpong Justice and also from the learned member secretary and learned deputy secretaries of West Bengal State Legal Services Authority were commendable. Gratitude to all of you, sirs and madams. Respected Madam R. Bimala, District Magistrate Kalimpong, Sir Chitra Bhattacharya, Divisional Forest Officer Kalimpong, Madam Aparajita Rai, Superintendent of Police Kalimpong, represented by our very own additional ma'am, Dr. Subrata Sarkar, Chief Medical Officer of Health Kalimpong, Sir Prabhakar Dewan, President of Kalimpong Bar Association, Executive Engineer, PWD, and honored members of Kalimpong and Gorubatan Bar Associations have always been pillars of support and cooperation in all the activities of D.L.S.A, and your contributions for this event in giving such successful shape deserve heartfelt applause. Gratitude to all of your distinguished guests. The program is participated by the various departments of Kalimpong District Administration, such as Employment Exchange, District Social Welfare Department, District Child Protection Unit, Labor Department, Department of Education, District Hospital, Backward Classes Welfare Department, Agriculture Department, Animal Husbandry Department, District Land and Land Reforms Department, Block Development Office, Forest Department. I believe that the services you have provided and information disseminated about various welfare schemes through these stalls today have abundantly benefited the people of this region. Various NGOs who are actively indulged in different welfare activities and services have also joined us in this program. They are All India Women Conference Kalimpong Branch, Bal Suraksha Abhiyan Trust, Hayden Hall Institute Kalimpong Branch, Darjeeling Diocese Legal Sub Kalimpong Branch, Who Cares Kalimpong, Kalimpong Anti-AIDS and Anti-Narcotic Drug Society, in short HANDS, Hill Social Welfare Society, Run with Roshni Foundation, Red Cross Society Kalimpong, Man in Action for Rural Growth, in short MARG NGO, Darjeeling, and International Justice Mission IJM Kolkata Branch. Active participation of these departments and governmental organizations, media personnel, revered Buddhist Dharma gurus, and management authority of Lava Buddhist Monastery, the little kids who presented lovely performance for our esteemed guests have earned for themselves an appreciable space in my script for vote of thanks. I would be falling deficient in my task if I lose sight of the persons on the field, that is the youths of Lava, who laid the edifice on which this very event is rest, with all the smile on their faces, their month-long hard work and selfless contributions in making all necessary arrangements for hall, lighting, sound system, seating arrangements, decorations, manpower and other logistic support have played pivotal role in successfully conducting today's program. My note of thanks also embraces within itself all those active and passive contributions received from all ends, which has made it an event to cherish. यसरी नै लाभा क्षेत्रका विभिन्न समाज संघ संस्थाहरू यस rusले आजको यो कार्यक्रममा मद्दत पुर्याउनु भयो। त्यसरी नै कार्यक्रममा जोडिनुको निम्ति विभिन्न क्षेत्रबाट आउनुभएका सम्पूर्ण दाजुभाइ दिदीबहिनी साथै उपस्थित विद्यार्थीवर्ग सबैलाई पनि हामी कालेबुङ जिल्ला कानुनी सेवा प्राधिकरणको तर्फबाट एकै मुष्टमा धन्यवाद जनाउन चाहन्छु। Kalimpong Police Administration, Kalimpong Court of Staff, D.L.S.A staff, PLD का भाइ बहिनीहरू, अफिस गाडी चालक वर्ग साथै सम्पूर्ण पुलिस सिक्युरिटी गणलाई पनि धन्यवादको क्रममा सम्झिँदै मेरो यो धन्यवाद ज्ञापन कार्यक्रमलाई यही विराम दिन चाहन्छु। Thank you very much. Thank you everyone.
संकल्प हमारा, यही संकल्प हमारा।
D.L.S.A के न्याय दूत हम सबको न्याय दिलाएंगे।
इंसाफ का उजियारा हम घर घर तक पहुँचाएंगे। औरत बच्चे दुखिया निर्धन हम बोलेंगे।
That was not done till 25 years. Now till just because it was recognized, but we are not getting good facilities and rights. We are family. All students belong from poor families, and we don't have got right education.
The teachers are there, no teachers?
Yes, sir, all teachers are good, but government facilities are not there.
Which school are you?
BM High School.
BM High School. They are asking for all the government facilities and
yes, sir, all kinds of facilities.
yes, so BM
आकाश न्याय का सबके लिए, उल्लास न्याय का सबके लिए, विश्वास न्याय का सबके लिए।
श्रीमान कालिम्पोङ डिस्ट्रिक्ट पुलिस आपका सम्मान गार्ड का नपलिक, एक सब इंस्पेक्टर, एक असिस्टेंट सब इंस्पेक्टर, 8 12 कांस्टेबल बेल्ट के साथ आपके सम्मान के लिए 2 पंक्तियों में खड़े हैं। सिमर कंधे सेट करेगा, कंधे सेट, विसर्जन।
अपने इस हिंदुस्तान पर हक हमारा भी तो है, इंसाफ के इस आशिया पर हक हमारा भी तो है।
ये ना सोचो दर्द हमारा कहीं सुना न जाएगा, अब न्यायालय खुद चलकर चौपालों तक आएगा।